Welcome to Card K-pop, the non-expert in Yu-Gi-Oh, but has fun playing it. Today we got the new type of card, Illusion Monsters. This is full power branded Chimera. So it's our normal branded cards, the Fallen Valbaz, branded in white, branded Fusion, but with our new Chimera Illusion cards. So yeah, and this is going against full power now. Rescue Ace, because we didn't have all the Rescue Ace stuff. Anyways, really interesting duel. I ended up loving it. Please ignore my background if you can hear the sound of it as well. But I get to go first. They max see me, and it kind of fucks me over. I can't do like a full combo, which would, if I could have gone, I could have locked them into Dark Monsters. And it would have, I mean, to be fair, they drew into Nib, but I don't know if they had it before Maxi. But still, you can make it so you can lock into Dark Monsters at the end of your turn. And I would have done that because I assume everyone's playing Snake Eyes. And it would have worked because they were playing Rescue Ace. But they maxied me. I didn't want to, go too far into my combo. So I just did enough where it was 1, 2, 3 extra draws for them. Set my 2 fusions. This rips a card from their hand. So let me wait till Bellstar goes, and I'll show you what we got set up in case you're not familiar with this board. So it's now their turn. Here's what we got. This is a quick effect to just get something else out, right? So this is going to go to the grave immediately. The first opportunity we get, we put it into the grave, and we bring something else out, which adds to our hand. We bring this out, the Gazelle, and it adds a Chimera fusion to our hand. So both of these are quick effect fusions, right? So what the plan is this will be in our grave. This is a quick effect from your grave, negate. This is a quick effect from your grave, negate a target and destroy. So if they try to target one of my cards, and both of these only work when this is on the field. Then we also got the Super Poly to wipe their board when they're in mid combo, and we have Chimera Fusion to then go into Guardian Chimera, which can then pop 2 of their cards and draw into something else. Plus, we can then go further with, like, this can, like, stop us from dying. You'll see. It's really, like, it looks simple, but there's a lot of interaction you get as long as they're not playing. I mean, I don't know. I haven't gone against Snake Eyes yet, to be honest. So, in their turn, they have Bellstar out already with their face down Bellstar trap. So, immediately get this guy into the grave so he can do his thing without being on the field. I get to pull out the, or not from my grave. I don't know why I said that earlier. The Gazelle from my deck. The Gazelle's going to let me add a Chimera Fusion, which will come in handy next turn while they're still doing their Rescue Ace stuff. I don't know what the new stuff of Rescue Ace does. I just know it makes it elite. And this was a very interesting duel. So add the Chimera Fusion for next turn. And yeah, okay, so we're going to let them combo off for a hot minute. Let them do their thing. I'm waiting for the big Rescue Ace guy to Super Poly him and negate him with this. That's my goal. I'm trying to hold everything to the big guy that's going to get all their spells and traps out, because that's what Rescue Ace does. They wait to get this big guy and set up a whole bunch of spells and traps. Not him. I wasn't too worried about him. That's one of the new guys. He can, like, flip one of my cards face down, but I wasn't worried about him because we have the corn guy. So I was waiting for this guy to come out so I can negate his effect when he does it, but he brought out Nightmare Phoenix, which made me do stuff slightly earlier than I wanted to, because he was terrified of, like, imperm, I guess, because, like, he didn't know what triggers I had this whole time, which were the grave triggers, right? These 2 in the grave were the triggers I had. And yeah, he was terrified. He thought it was like imperm. I guess these 2 were triggers as well. That was like not doing. So he brought out the Nightmare Phoenix to pop these, and well, it kind of made me start earlier than I wanted. I wanted to wait for him to activate this first, but obviously doesn't go as planned. He targets the wrong one. If he had targeted the Super Poly, I wouldn't have had to do anything except just activate Super Poly. We'd be good. But he hit the right one. He hit Chimera Fusion, so that means I had to negate it with this guy in the grave, the Sword Knight. So I negate it with him. He then goes into a Bellstar. So then I'm like, well, fuck it. I'm just going to get my Super Poly and get rid of this guy before he can activate the effect, since I don't have the negate anymore. So I Super Poly into my big Guardian Chimera. Or no, my Garura. I'm sorry, we haven't gotten to the Guardian Chimera. Please ignore that. So the Garura will give me a draw when he goes to the grave. Negates the destruction there, so I get to keep my Chimera Fusion for later. He brings back Rescue Ace. I don't know what that does, but he brought that back. I didn't want that field spell because it would have let him normal summon another Rescue Ace card. I'm like, no way. So I use the Chimera Fusion now to get out the big boy. Look, 3 cards for my Guardian Chimera. So I bring him out. He's going to let me pop 2 cards on the field and draw 1. Plus, I'll get a draw from Garura, which is really cool. So I get 2 draws and 2 pops right now. But he's going to special summon one from his deck in defense. That's one of the new cards as well. So he gets another Turbulence out. And I'm like, frick. Okay, I got to pop that, and I got to pop the field spell. Bam. I drew an Ash, which is great, and then I added the Cornfield Kotal, and then I drew into a Super Poly for next turn, which actually comes in handy. So they go into the Diabell Star stuff. I stopped that. I didn't want them drawing anything else, and that ended up being the right choice. They didn't have anything else in their hand that would have been useful for Ash Blossom, so that was the right choice, I think. They ended up having one more quick play that I know they added, but I just couldn't do anything about. And that'll let them set up their traps and spells, but they already used most of them, so they only set up 2, I guess. They activate this so they can use their trap on their first turn. Trying to kill my guy, I'm like, hell no. And, negate it with the Cornfield Kotal, which I've been holding on to this whole time, that negate of a target. So they use that guy to pop my big boy. I'm like, okay, wrong choice, buddy, but okay. Then they go in, 900, but my Grave effect, I get a Grave Quick effect with him too. I didn't mention that earlier because it's so deep into the combo. But when he's in the Grave Quick effect, I can summon back out a Chimera, which happens to be this huge guy. So he can't attack anymore. And he goes into my turn. And so my turn, I know those 2 traps are deadly if he has a Rescue Ace on the field. Those traps are deadly. So I want to get rid of these Rescue Ace. The problem is, I don't have another Garura. I only had the 1 Garura, which is in my grave. So I'm going to go into the Super Poly in the draw phase so that they, can't activate these before I don't know how they would have done it. I wanted to do it in the draw phase just as soon as possible. So I send out the Super Poly. My plan was to get this guy and the Phoenix into a Mud Dragon, and then I can Chimera Fusion him into something else, and I worry about the traps later. I don't know what would have happened because he didn't like that I did that. And I won. I kind of didn't expect to win, but this was a very back and forth game with a lot of interaction. Both brand new decks or brand new support on their decks. I don't like solo branded, but Chimera branded has a lot going on with it. I can just go into a normal branded combo if I want to. I got the Fallen of Albaz. I got look at the deck list. I got the Aluber. I got the Albaz. I'm apparently missing most of my cards because it thinks that they're in the grave. I mean, I could just show you. You like my deck name? You can't see me because they're illusion card. Anyway, yeah. So I end up going with about 8 hand traps. Then we got this is for the lock into darks. So if they try to do fire, they can't. Branded stuff with Fallen of Albaz and Aluber and Spriggans do all the branded stuff. This is all the Chimera stuff. And then we obviously have the branded spell cards, Super Poly for what you just saw, like field clearing, Max Seed Repellent, branded support, Chimera support, and more hand traps. So I guess it's technically 3, 6, 9, 10, 11 hand traps in total. And then the extra deck, just like generic Super Poly stuff right here. These 3 mainly are generic Super Poly stuff. And then beyond that, we got like the main boss main for the new Chimera illusion stuff. We got this guy that lets me do the lock. This is the guy that lets me go into the dark lock, which is surprisingly not that useful. Like a lot of dark decks are good, but yeah. And then obviously branded stuff. But also this guy, if I only open branded fusion somehow, if I open like branded fusion or only Aluber without any of my starters, which would be this guy's my starter, this guy's a starter, this guy can be a starter even though it's a much weaker opening. If I don't open one of these 9 cards for Chimera, and I get an Aluber and Albaz, or actually Albaz wouldn't help. If I get an Aluber or a Branded Fusion or some way to go into, or I guess some way to go into Branded Fusion, right? I can make him with most of my stuff because Beast Wing, etc. Dump my Gazelle, and that'll let me add this guy back to my hand, and then I can start my normal fusions. So yeah, lots of cool synergy, lots of cool interaction, and really interesting, fun game. I recommend.